Hello, and welcome to our podcast on all things financial services with a specialization in retirement plans. I'm your host, James Douglas Carlson, the president and chief executive officer of Plan Design Consultants,
Wow.
a third-party administration firm founded in founded in 1975. I have the distinct pleasure, in my notes it says, I have the distinct pleasure of being joined by Chadwick Johansson, our sales director and industry thought leader, Mark Palmini, the vice president of sales for all flyover states and the Silicon Valley. And last but not least, Justin McNeil, VP of sales for Beverly Hills, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and Alaska. I don't know.
There's going to be some new travel on my credit card here pretty soon, boys.
Italy.
I hear plans are hot in Bahamas.
The beer of the episode today is Woodford Reserve Bourbon and a big ice cube because I'm trying to be sophisticated like a chief executive officer should be. The only problem is I don't really know how to make an old fashioned. So I just have like bourbon with some bitters in it and an ice cube and it tastes like shit. But my wife just got home and she's making me a proper old fashioned in the kitchen.
Aw, that's very sweet of her.
That is the beer of the episode today. We're going to play some games today. Acrosin has already started. We all know how that works. Yes, Chatbar Champion is back and in action on a normal Thursday night. We will be voting for the finalists, and then you all out there will be voting for the winner. Last week's Chatbar champion was Jim Sampson.
Jimmy.
I believe, if I check my text messages, that Emily has dropped off your order from McDonald's.
Oh boy.
Jim was delivered. Deep breath. 3 Big Macs, 6 cheeseburgers, 1 fish fillet, because nobody orders that shit anymore. So I wanted to at least order it. A 20-piece chicken nuggets with 3 packs of hot mustard sauce.
What?
Yeah, that was an option, and I went with it. Because who likes that shit? 3 1/2 strips of bacon. Who knew you could get that at McDonald's? I didn't know, but
What the?
A kid's Happy Meal with a regular burger, a Halloween trick-or-treat pail. You're welcome, Sampo.
Dude, people are buying those for thousands of dollars
Really?
right now. Yeah.
Apple slices and milk in that one, an apple pie, and you get to wash it all down with a hot fudge sundae.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
6,000
There's no way that Sunday lasted.
6,350 calories was the math I had.
Oh my God.
I'd be sick for a month.
How much of this do you think just goes in the trash?
I don't know. Who fucking cares? Okay. Headlines, please. Headlines. Get right to it, shall we? There's an Empower managed account service lawsuit from the National Association of Plan Advisors. And wait, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry, people. The Empower. Here's the deal. We've heard about this before. We've had different guests on the show that have conspiracy theoried on Empower, really focusing on these what's an individual retirement account?
Ooh.
Rollovers, and how they've got these banks of people there, right? Of Empower employees there to kind of help consult with these people and help them with these rollovers. Well, a couple quotes from this article.
Dude, that article was pretty brutal.
It's deep, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it gets really shady in terms of the way it's written, at least. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we can have this debate about whether it's shady or whether it's just being a good capitalist, but their beef is focused on how they allege empower position advisors in promoting a managed account solution to the exclusion of other options. I'm basically just reading from the article here. And what they see are practices that serve to obscure the ties between all of Empower's different organizations.
Yeah.
And what they see as conflict of interest. Over the last 7-8 years, Empower has misrepresented to clients that its advisors are salaried, non-commissioned, and objective fiduciaries acting in the client's best interest.
Yeah.
Turns out, according to this article or someone's accusations, that this is a bald-faced lie.
Yeah.
By the way, what is a bald-faced lie? What the fuck does that mean?
Ugh.
I've probably used it.
I feel offended by that term.
You don't have
His face is not bald,
I
Justin.
thought it was bold-faced lie, was it not?
No, I could have sworn it said bald too.
Yeah,
I
I
am
did.
pretty sure
it.
it says bald.
I copied and cut. I've cut and copied here, cut and pasted.
It does say bald, I know that for a fact.
I cut, copied, and pasted.
It's written by Nevin. There's not a typo. Okay.
No
Nevin's,
way.
That's a good
Nevin's
point. That's a
perfect.
very
You
good
never get
point.
that wrong. The truth is that the compensation Empower's advisors receive is directly tied to enrolling participants into the managed account. So yeah, there's some talk of double dipping on fees and everything. So I don't know. Again, people have come on the show and talked about it. And I used to think like, oh, well, looks like Empower's just like smart and really efficient. They've got access to all these retirement plans. They know that rollovers are a good source of revenue for them if they can scale it and do it right. And so what better way to scale it and do it right than keep it all in-house and make some revenue on it, right? Is this really wrong?
Mhm.
I guess it's just
If you don't
the way,
disclose
yeah,
it.
the way in which it was being done, at least the way that article's written to say that it was like legit internal communication about how it should be done, no other options. That the comments too made about how they were like hand picking, and again using their words, right?
The
Like
issue in
Yeah.
my mind.
the people with the bigger balances that they knew were nearing retirement, who they could effectively hand pick because they had all this information, who were, now I'm going to forget the words, even though I read it a minute ago, like the ill-advised or the
Unsophisticated.
unsophisticated folks. Yeah, that's where it got down like this other angle that I was like blown away by.
Now to that, they actually built off of that, said something along the lines of, had they known that this would all be going back to Empower, they wouldn't have invested in it. And I call it bullshit.
That's not true. And by the way, right, innocent
They're
until proven
unsophisticated.
guilty. This is not, we're just reporting
Right.
on.
They've just been sued.
Right.
No judges as
I think it's worth reading that section that Mark is referencing, JD. It says, the suit claims Empower used its knowledge as a retirement plan administrator to identify vulnerable, unsophisticated investors and individuals with large account balances nearing retirement as targets for their sales representatives.
That word target, that makes me.
Dude,
Well,
I call that using data, bro. That's called
Yeah, but right,
monetizing the
you
participant.
can see it that way,
But
but then when
so-
you dive into the details,
So JD, this would be my point and why that is so relevant. We have been talking about monetizing the data, but if a court case settles and sets some precedent for them targeting
No doubt.
unsophisticated people, then leveraging the data is going to become so much more difficult to say that this person was not targeted based upon a lack thereof, any
Let's
kind of
also-
knowledge or
but
information.
how do you identify unsophisticated, by the way?
Do you go after plans that have no advisor because they won't ask a question of an independent advisor? Like, are you looking for people that are blue collar? I don't know, Mark, but that's my point, is that if
God.
something like this settles, it could get super dirty in trying to leverage the data.
Yes,
and they don't-
Greg, I'm not
Let's clear
sophisticated.
up two things real first. One more time is like, these are words from the plaintiff, right? And the plaintiff attorney. So these are their accusations. So they're going to be shocking. They're going to be jaw dropping. They're going to make you be like, whoa, like you're not, and Nevin always talks about this when he writes these articles. You're not hearing from the defendants yet, right? You're just hearing these accusations. But I'm kind of with what Mark was saying is, I mean, how do you even determine, aren't all participants unsophisticated when it comes, at least 98% of them? But if Chad, if they were looking at like this is a trucking company in Missouri.
Right.
Going after that. That'd be fucked up, man. Sorry, Justin. You had something to say.
I don't remember what it was now. Sorry.
I learned
Oh, actually, I
something.
do.
Go.
They did talk. They did mention, I think it was the non-Empower related, or branded investments were about 80 bips. I'm curious to what
That
their
counts.
cases
That counts.
Fuck, it does. Curious to what they're grading that to. Like, what could they have gotten it? How much more cost effective could they have gotten it for? What are they looking at there? What's the benchmark?
That'd be an interesting detail to jump into at a later show. To be honest with you, I don't really know the span of fees as it relates to individual retirement accounts.
I interpreted that statement, Mac, as them saying what you're paying in your retirement account, where maybe there is advisor compensation, there's cost of administration. Like, we're able to show you something that's lower in cost, therefore you should do it. I interpret it not as a blanket comparison to other individual retirement account investments. I'll take that. I was there.
Yeah, ring them up.
I
have control the buttons.
401k you're in.
Well, they even go on to talk about the fact that it's the double dip they talk about is even the individual retirement account itself is invested in Putnam and or Great West Empower type funds, as Empower bought Putnam back in the day.
And paying Advised Assets Group as the managed advisor on it. Yeah.
It'll be fun to see, but you're right, Chad. If something was to cut,
so here,
but that doesn't happen yet.
Begs the question: What's Empower been doing all these years? Just buying
Making
all kinds
money.
of shit. Where's that money coming from? Yay!
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Trace. Now JD can join.
Let's do a taste tester. Oh yeah, there's no comparison. You might want to put this right back in the bottle. Mark, great one. They've been making all kinds of money off of these unsophisticated rollovers, man.
Whoa, is that money laundering just by getting rid of it as quick as you're making it?
They literally
joking.
They acquired those companies on the backs of poor unsophisticated participants. All right,
Sampson's comment.
No.
What?
Holy McDonald's.
Okay, next headline. The American Retirement Association joins Amicus brief. I must have said that right. Rebuffing BlackRock target date suit. Okay. Mark,
Nevin's on a roll with these articles.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. Guys, I'm gonna start sending you these articles every week. You're crushing it. You got all these thoughts and stuff. And
imagine that if we've only been asking for this.
Just told us what we were talking about.
Know what we're talking about.
Phenomenal.
I will say I did not read this article though.
I'm gonna try that.
This one actually got me more excited than the other one.
I didn't have time.
I like your enthusiasm, Mark, because to me this is less about the BlackRock suit. It really it has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that I was kind of floored by, wow, the American Retirement Association is involved in this amicus brief, which to me, I'm not a lawyer.
I don't know what that means, so I just went past that.
You can guess. It's some kind of like informational piece that's given to the court, right? Someone in the chat bar, correct me if I'm totally off base here, but just saying like, look, here's some really like well-to-do, important industry associations and people and things helping the court understand the case a little more. And apparently the American
they're trying to prevent some massive like exodus of things happening before it gets out of control. I mean, their foresight on this is fantastic, because I when I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, I agree. They are looking at this and saying, if this continue, if that goes through and something happens, we're going to run into, as an industry, just constant issues and lawsuits, and it's going to be the wild freaking west.
And to clarify for everyone listening in, Mark, what you're referring to and what the American Retirement Association pointed out was that it seemed to be centered around performance, right? That this fund wasn't performing well, and there were other funds performing better.
Short-term performance, by the way.
You should have chosen those funds, which if you make that crack in the dam, we're all fucked, right? Like
Yeah.
nothing will make any sense.
No.
Up will be down and down will be up. But what I didn't know was, and I'm sure this has happened in the past, I just don't pay close enough attention as I do these
Yeah.
days, but the American Retirement Association getting involved in an
Yeah, I love
actual
that.
case
Yeah.
and defending, in a sense, our industry.
Mhm.
I didn't know things went that far for them. I thought they just kind of stayed on the sidelines and lobbied for legislation.
Yeah.
I didn't know they actually got involved in litigation. So I'd love to see some comments in the chat bar. People that are like, yeah,
Yeah.
they do this shit all the time. So bada boom.
See, it's one of those things where, we entrust John Sullivan to break the stories in years past, and obviously he wasn't doing his job. So Nevin had to fill that void to say, hey, guess what? We're doing a whole lot more than we're getting credit for. So just so you guys know, here's a little tidbit.
Shannon Ellsworth, JD, they do this shit all the time. She's got my vote so far for Chatbar champion. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I'm with you all. Back to the whole BlackRock thing. I really hope this one gets knocked down, because that would be rough. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Well, now that you've said that, I'm hedging my bets and going the other
Yeah, I was
way.
gonna say, what's Mark going? Where's Mark going?
They just heard that and said, oh no, we can't listen to that guy.
That lawsuit has about as much chance as pooled employer plans have.
Hey, by the way, hold on before you move on too
Good.
quickly from that. Who was it during the conference that made the bold statement that pooled employer plans would be done within 18 months?
Oh yeah, I did see that quote.
Why didn't I hear that?
They
Where
came
was
over
that?
to us. Someone came over to, was it Jeff?
Sue, Sue's like losing her shit. Sue just grabbed her computer and threw it against the wall.
Yeah, so someone came over. I forget who it was, and it was someone that we fully respected. And I'm like, oh, we need to get into that. Why
Well,
you feel that way?
Was it
Let's be-
Jason?
Let's
They
be clear.
sure shit didn't say it
That
to
might have
me.
been Robert.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear, and let me jump on Sue's side for an odd way that I've never done before.
That's a little strange.
People like Sue are going to succeed. There are going to be advisor shops that have distribution either regionally or across the country that will create a pooled employer plan that they really like for whatever reason, and it works well. And they found the right partners in terms of a pooled plan provider and a record keeper, and they like the core menu kind of vibe and the 338 they partner with. Hopefully it's not a conflict of interest and it's actually them. Maybe it is, and maybe that's okay. I don't know or care. Sue will succeed in continuing to build up their book of pooled employer plans. So if you call that success, that's fine. What I'm talking about is in the bigger scheme of things, even Aon having $1 billion, $1 billion isn't fucking shit. Like $5 billion plans get sued on.
Securian had 17 billion.
Ain't shit, so yeah, and they're small. So my point is, on the bigger scheme, it's going to be a very small drop, not even in the bucket. It's going to be a drop in the, a fairly mid-sized lake. And it's not going to make that big of a difference.
I almost look at that statement and think of it like in conjunction with the money purchase plan. They still exist out there. There's still a few lingering. There's still
Or
even
better
people
yet-
that believe in them, but nobody's writing them.
Or
They're
better
not
yet,
actively growing.
call it a slightly better multiple employer plan, because
Yeah, but
multiple
that
employer
has a
plans
way-
in my mind have not done jack shit. But they exist and they're around and you run into them from time to time. It's
But
like
there's a must in that space, JD. There are certain businesses that really do need to be part of a multiple employer plan based upon the structure of their company and the way their ownership is set up and their divisions are. So I see that as a
Wow.
very different thing.
Are you suggesting that pooled employer plans will not succeed more than multiple employer plans? You're more pessimistic than me. I don't think that's true.
No, I think they will.
That pooled employer plans will garner a little more success than
Yes.
multiple. I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with you. But even that won't be because a multiple employer plan is like an even open multiple employer plans when they were kind of legal but not kind of legal and no one knew. That was like a unicorn sighting. Like you would never see those things out in the world. You see them once in a while. That's what PEPs will be like. Oh shit. I was doing so good on that.
You did really well. Shocked, actually.
Okay, I also want to make a promise to everyone. And I need your guys' help. It's not fair to the audience that tunes in. Our guests in the future have to drink their penalty drinks. They cannot keep skirting aside. I'm talking to you, Jeff Atchison. You know, they've literally have got to drink those suckers. So we need to find a team way, maybe sit them down before and be like, yo, bro, this is legit, man.
I don't know, man.
Did he not get through all of his eventually?
No.
Or am I blanking on something? No.
And he's not the only one. I don't want to isolate him.
No.
There's plenty of people out there
Well, you
that.
did.
That's just tough, man, because you don't want to make. I don't know. Like,
But come
there's,
on. Let's be truthful.
No, Mark.
Do you guys ever skip? Do you guys ever skip? A
No,
penalty?
and let's
there's no way.
clarify what he's saying. If they don't drink, they don't drink. We're not gonna force them to drink. But if
Yes.
they're on the show and they say they're participating, then they can't skate by and take one drink when he said it 13 times during a show. And so we need to come up with like some little segment, JD, like a Jeopardy tune, where if they
Just,
get
mid-show.
above 4, if they get
I
above
like that.
4 owed, that
Mhm.
comes on. It's like, dude, you gotta take it. Sorry, now you have to
Good
stop
call.
what you're saying and take it.
Well, that's the hard part, JD, is you always tell them, well, finish your thought, and which I get,
Right.
but then it's very easy for us to just
Ooh.
kind of move past it.
You see
Mhm.
Sherry's point? If they don't
What'd
do
you
it, we
say?
make them pay. They gotta donate to a nonprofit.
So, and for anyone in the future that doesn't drink, I love the designated drinker box. So we're going to continue that. And then the only one who gets a pass to.
Ooh,
Sue's
I
point-
like that. Donate. If you don't drink it, you have to donate to some charity. I love that is
That's-
a fantastic.
I think they
An
need to
echo?
fucking drink. And I also say the only one who gets a pass is Fred Reich. Okay, let's spin the wheel of ice.
Not John.
Well, it's different for John.
Remember, sober people get a designated drinker.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted.
I'm due.
Yes.
I'm due. I skated by in Vegas with nothing. I knew that it was
And you're getting the
coming.
pros, you got to get it right.
Shafted.
Oh yeah, every time.
Hey, Samson told you that on LinkedIn today.
I know he did.
You did something, and he's like, "Oh, you deserve the ice, bro."
Jeez, this thing won't
You
twist
deserve
off.
the
If I can't open it, do I still have to do it?
Yep.
You got to break
Put
it
under
over
your
your
shirt.
head.
Yeah,
You guys glue these shut last time you were here, Justin?
Okay,
No.
Ah,
I've been there
I-
3 months.
I walked the floor, the exhibitor, the sponsors floor at Wealth at Work, and there's a lot of names that you recognize: large record keepers, mutual fund families, et cetera, But there's also a lot of these other companies that I'm going to call like 401k tech vendors. And
oh, Jeff got here. Perfect timing.
Sorry,
buddy.
Jeff. The kid
Uh-oh.
left the room.
Did
What's
you
up?
get a text from somebody?
Anybody
Oh,
talking
shit.
about
Too
me
soon.
here?
Too soon.
Hey Jeff, can you do us a favor? Drink whatever you're drinking right now. Like, why don't you put back about 9 shots? Oskies, bro. Oskies. There's all these little vendors that, new little startups, little tech companies. I shouldn't say new and little. Some of them have been around and they're bigger firms for sure. I'm going to go through some of the names and I'd like to get y'all's opinion on if they matter. Have you heard of them? And when I say if they matter, I mean,
Okay.
like, do advisors care, And Hackler, you fucking genius.
That's a
my
new term, huh?
That's my very first one is
Oh.
Venrollment. Okay. So Venrollment, Mark, Chad, Justin, you have any idea? Have you heard be honest with yourselves. Have you heard of
No.
them?
I was
No.
today years old when I learned of that name.
On this show
Same
or,
here.
or elsewhere already?
Assuming it stands for virtual enrollment.
No, like right this minute.
Oh,
This,
okay,
I
yeah,
was
me
this
too.
many minutes.
I didn't
ago.
even see him at the conference.
Well, they were there.
I didn't actually walk around. I'll be honest.
Oh, video.
They were there. Tampo's helping me out. Hackler's helping
Same
me
thing.
out. Video enrollment. So think you're a business. I guess you could be an advisor too, but your ABC company, they will bust out pretty quickly.
Well,
Oh shit. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, does it?
Yeah. It counts.
I don't know.
They will-
It's three letters. So yeah, it
Yeah, but
counts.
I mean, they don't stand for anything.
So
That probably doesn't help. Yeah.
They will bust out a video for you with your logo on it and your color scheme. And when you tell them you got a safe harbor match and automatic enrollment, that they'll put that into a little video and bada bing, bada boom. Just this me going to their website.
Sherry, chat to everybody. Yeah, I think unless you're not trying to do that. Sorry. calling you
And
out.
yes, similar to VWise in the past. If you-
VWise, that's
if you
what I
heard
was
of
trying
them.
to think
Similar
of.
kind of thing. So
So
let me
hold
ask you guys.
on,
Yeah.
because I don't know, but VWise is the one that would integrate actual enrollment links into the video. So the video would stop and say, are you ready to enroll or do you need more? And if you click yes, it would loop you right into Principal or loop you right into Nationwide. That shit was good.
I think there's lots of tech out there that will even take you through the enrollment and then send the data back to the record keeper, like through a feed, versus the ones that are out there and say, okay, now go to your record keeper, log in and follow everything we just told you to do. I don't know all the specifics and I'm not trying to get into all the specifics. I just want to know, like, so this type of enrollment, Chad, to you first, is this valuable to the advisors walking around the conference?
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think man, we've talked for a while about technology that goes across platform so that advisors can build out their own solution regardless of the record keeper that's being used. And I think something like this can make that really possible for each of your clients.
Are we seeing any of this from have the record keepers stepped up their game in this type of tech? Or is it they still pretty much just, yeah, we give enrollment support, here's a video. They don't use like customized
They'll
tech.
pre-record, they'll record their enrollment video. They'll put some Brain Shark out, but no, that really hasn't gotten much better, especially in the last, in my mind, 2 years.
Okay. Next one, RetireReady. Mark, you familiar with this? No, you didn't even walk the floor. Everyone out there in the chat bar, RetireReady. Let me know if you know who they are. You've seen them before. Chad, Justin? Yes, no?
Nope.
I
Sounds
think
familiar, but nope.
Yes, Chad?
I think I do. I need to see the logo to make
And
sure. it's the company I was thinking of.
Samson is on track with his, see the pun I did there? That was pretty slick. Yeah, it is that. And I guess I would call it not just enrollment tech, but also like gap analysis reports, kind of a step towards retirement readiness type of stuff. And who has to drink? Mark, who's ringed up?
I think, well, okay, never mind. I don't know. I was sort of, I think I'm thinking of a different type of analysis when you said the word gap, and
I'll go with, because it was a pun, Samson's right. It's not the gap analysis, it's the that one. The fuck?
I was thinking about the insurance.
Okay, got it. Anyways, I have actually sat through a webinar on this one, talked with the guy who started it, and I was pretty impressed. It's really cool. Hence my question here now. Like, I think RetireReady is really neat technology. I could totally see it being used by an advisor to create a more impactful fiduciary review meeting, to have a more plan of attack with all their clients. My question to y'all is it valuable? Are people using it? Do you see it in your day-to-day?
No,
I don't, not in mine, but that was my biggest question in the start of this. Like, we all love these technologies and we've seen them over the years and we've all touted them and thought they could really help people, but who's actually using it?
When we get to the end, I'd like to figure out.
They come and go. Isn't the ultimate goal is they just want to sell it? They just want to get just make
Record
a
keeper to
sale,
buy it.
have a buy. Yeah,
Maybe.
Maybe Mark, maybe that's the end goal, but are people using it? Yes, JD, and it's the type of people that are at that conference. It's not the onesie twosies. It's not the folks who are stumbling into opportunities. It's the advisors that are doing a great deal of business and need some of this tech to help clients and to create a cohesive offering. I think if I were an advisor, one of the biggest issues for me is that what I'm doing for one client that has Fidelity is very different than what I'm able to do for another client that has Empower, which could be very different for how I enroll people when they're with Nationwide. And if I feel like my offering when I'm with Empower is great because they have this wonderful tech, and then I sell a Nationwide plan and I don't feel the same, I feel like I'm letting my client down. I want to find tech to bridge the gap between record keeper and record keeper.
So you're a supporter then of an advisor building, I hate this term, but I'm going to use it.
Tech
building
stack?
their tech stack. Yep. Next one, Pen Checks, the most phenomenal company in the
best ever.
Pen Checks was there. We love Pen Checks. Chad, don't you dare fucking squint like that with Pen Checks.
Come on, I was wearing the Pen Checks hat sitting at our table, of course.
I'm sure a lot of advisors maybe don't recognize the name, but if you're a third-party administrator, you do. They work in distributions. They can really help you with like unpackaged products like trust accounting clients, self-directed brokerage accounts, those types of things where you can do really like modern day distributions that are trackable and done well. So anyways, they're a great firm, but again, there they are, and they do other things. They work with advisors on individual retirement account stuff and all kinds of stuff. So check out Pen Checks. That was a little bit of a blurb. They help us with some things. Morningstar was there. They're a massive company. Morningstar's there. I'll skip past them because I think we all understand where their value could be. You know, their fund analysis and investment analysis, and they worked on reports. I think they get drowned out by the FI 360s and the retirement plan advisor groups and some of those tools, but Morningstar has sick fund analysis and blotter charts and all kinds of like, you know, things you can use to communicate to your clients and your participants. So me personally, I should stop ignoring them and look at them the same way I analyze an FI 360 or something like that.
Sure.
And Lisa says, Ashley was there and she's awesome. Well, that helps too, Lisa, to have an awesome Ashley on your team. I'm going to drink for this one. IRA Logics with an X. Heard of them before?
Nope.
Never heard of them before. I don't know what they do either.
So here's
Probably
what I
owned by
learned
Empower.
from this. Granted, we're not the typical person walking that floor, right? It's advisors. What I learned from this is I want a list from Lisa and Bryant afterwards, just so I can research these companies that I didn't have time to walk around and learn more about them. Because if they're spending the money to be there, they're relevant. They're folks that we should know. They're companies that we should be more acquainted with.
I mean, I would hope that was a great point, Chad. If I was an advisor trying to build my practice, I'd be walking those pathways, stopping at those booths, trying to figure out if there was something I need to add to my tech stack or something I need to consider to replace something else. So I'm assuming that the individual retirement account Logix is helping advisors with rollovers. Their website could use a little work. If anyone from there listens to this now or in the future, I'd work on that website a bit. Incentive. I didn't know who Incentive was. I reached out to Bryant Lester and I said, who the fuck is Incentive? And he goes, yo, bro. He didn't say this word for word, but he goes, that's e-money. I went to e-money Incentive and looked up, and Brandon, I sent you a link via email. I don't know if you had a chance. You had a lot going on. Doesn't matter if you can't pull it up. If you can, great. But e-money or Incentive by e-money, that looks like a sweet ass app. Like it's got great screenshots. This is all made for your phone, for mobile and stuff. Atchison says it's slick. That's how I felt looking at it. So you're talking about a wellness tool for participants that an advisor could add to their system that's actually kick ass.
We've chatted about it before on here. We've chatted about e-money and Incentive.
I must have been drunk on that one.
Well, it was just a mention of mine because remember I mentioned my advisor uses it, and there were some questions on, well, how do you leverage it and how does he send it to you and what do you do on it stuff. So
yeah. So anyways, that's a cool one. iJoin was there. That's another enrollment technology, financial fitness, a wellness, fiduciary decisions. That's like an outcomes kind of the word I screwed up earlier, analysis type of thing. Benetic was there as a proposal and a request for proposal technology. We've had Benetic on this show before, so they're this cool technology. So anyways, I just feel like we walked away from that conference, me myself just not really paying attention to all these cool little new techs, and I just wanted to have a Chad Nuggets moment of like, we should be building our tech stack. Let me ask you, why do you think a lot of 401k advisors, why does 401k, if you talk to Itzo, I'll drink for that. He says it a lot, Josh. He says that the financial planning, wealth management space is like way ahead of us in terms of their tech. Like they love all these little snap-on things and there's tons of great ones. But in the 401k space, we seem to be way behind them for the most part, at least. Any ideas on why that might be?
My first thought is because many advisors have good profit margin on the private wealth side. So their thought is to spend
it there.
Whereas on the 401k side, many are using it as a loss leader and their thought is trim cost. not create margin.
I was thinking, and I've had conversations with people before, that has a lot to do with the fact that we're so siloed as an industry. Like Voyas, the principals, the empowers, they're all competing with each other and they're kind of closed off. It's kind of like Apple versus Microsoft and the open source. I'm going to drink for this one. Like, we're not very API friendly as an industry. Like, we've struggled even with payroll and 360 feeds for the longest time. So when you're a young startup and you create something cool, it's really tough to get your foot in the door of Empower, Voya, Principal, and try to share data to get your app to work properly. And they usually tell you to fucking get lost. And that's kind of sets us back.
Belton said in the chat bar that many advisors are looking to the record keeping platforms to provide that stuff. And my initial immediate response was, he's right, and I agree. And then my next thought in my head was, well, yeah, because in the private wealth space, you're usually not paying outside resources for items, for support, for tech. You're paying the advisor for their support, but in the retirement plan space, you're paying a record keeper. And so I think advisors look at that like, well, we're paying for services. Let's pull what they're offering. Let's leverage it.
Right. Well, but to your earlier point, that seems short-sighted to me. If you want to build a successful, repeatable practice that you're proud of and you can talk to a prospect with enthusiasm about, it's one that you've pieced together, right?
Yeah.
Don't hit me with don't get me started in Hotel California again. I can't go there right now. We're actually going to talk about that, Jeff. Stay tuned, buddy. Stay tuned. Let's play a little game. I got a new segment for y'all. Bless you, Mark.
Ooh,
Bless
something
you.
new?
Something new. It doesn't have a sound to it, but I sent Brandon a little graphic. Hopefully he got it. It's called, for me, I really like ... For me, I really like ... No, I don't know. It's making us. It's the corn guy, you know.
The corn.
For me,
It's the corn
I really
kid.
like. Yeah.
Oh.
I really
I
like.
really like corn.
I sent Brandon this great corn graphic. Brandon's like, bro, I've been fucking busy, man. Do you know Brandon, when he's sober, he's harder to work with? Okay, and how this works is, Justin, pretty simple. I just want to know pop culture, man. I want to know what you really like these days. Is it a Netflix documentary? Is it a movie? Is it a game you're playing? You know, what is floating your boat these days that we could all learn from and jump on your ship, you know?
What?
We want to be on your ship.
I want to do what you do.
I hear you want to be on my ship. What am I watching?
I guess I should have sent you an email about this.
Yeah, you probably should have. What's the Game of Thrones one called? Shit.
Ooh,
Yeah,
House of
Dragon.
Yeah.
Fucking baller show.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
back you on that.
Yeah. Pretty damn good.
Were you a Game of Thrones person?
Oh yeah. So I stopped. I
Still don't
want
know
to
many of
watch
the
it,
names,
right?
so.
And so I was putting it off for years and years, and I was out on vacation, and the people I was with wanted to watch. They were on second to last episode of season 7, and they were playing in the room, and I was just kind of paying attention to it. And it's when the dragons come out, and they're what are the ice people called again? Anyways, they kill one of the dragons. Yeah, the White Walkers.
Yeah,
kill one of the dragons, and I'm like,
Hey,
fuck.
we are a
Good,
no
right?
no spoiler show,
Hold on.
man. People,
This is.
I've seen it.
If this is spoiling it, then that's all your fault. But hold on, that's not my point. That's not my point.
is this supposed to take this long?
I went home and watched all 7 seasons in 3.5 weeks. It was terrible. So good.
Mark, what do you got going on these days?
Well, see, I don't know. You almost made it seem like we have to pick a show now.
No,
because,
it could be anything.
But I'm gonna go that route because I have some guilty pleasures in terms of shows. I do watch The House of Dragons. Yes, that was a big one.
I still have one. I have the last one to watch. I'll be watching it tonight.
My wife and I Maria and I, excuse me, we watched Dahmer, started that. That's a creepy freaking show. That, and then last night we got notification that and this is going to be a real guilty pleasure.
Brooke told me today
the Love is Blind new season just came out, so we watched the first episode of that. I think that show is absolutely stupid, but I have to watch it.
Chad, and if it's a show, go right ahead. That's fine.
Well, I will tell you what I'm truly into right now because it was a revelation for me. I wasn't willing to spend the money on it in the past, but then you left me a bottle of Grey Goose, and now my vodka horizons have grown,
Oh,
and I like Grey Goose better
Chad, I
than
love-
Fidos.
Brandon, tee up the
Wow.
vodka video.
Well, yeah.
She is.
Chad's new hobby is vodka.
Yeah, it's just so good.
And I'll add vodka on a golf course. Those two things go together really well. So that's
I
what
will-
I'm into.
I will back you. That is Chad Nuggets. If anyone out there, if you haven't experienced vodka, you should. It's good
And
for
on a
you.
golf course.
It's fucking phenomenal. I love that. Well, shoot, I love the House of Dragons, Justin. I was actually going to kind of go there, but I'll go cheesier one. I like the real estate shows, and I've been watching this really bad one on Netflix called Selling Sunset. It's in the Hollywood
never seen
area.
it.
I mean, it's kind of like a mix of like the good real estate shows and then the housewife shows on Bravo. It's like a little hybrid of that. And I'm not saying it's quality, but it's kind of like train wreck, like you're watching it just going. That's kind of how I feel about the housewife shows sometimes too. But so, all right.
Well,
So we went with
Mark, what happened to
no,
your
wait,
face?
3 shows
I
to
don't know.
watch and vodka. That's good. That's good. That has been the first installment of.
I've been drinking
Bye,
a lot of
guys.
vodka in my free time.
There it is.
And
In your free time.
Bye,
Okay.
everybody. Bye.
Oh, you're out of here. See you, Robbie.
See ya.
See you, Margie.
Love you guys.
Hey, dude.
Love
Good luck
you.
tonight.
Bye,
Win,
Chatbar.
win, win.
My vote is for.
You know what they say.
All right.
Yep.
This is where we need the Jeopardy.
Oh, he did. He bounced.
You classic Robbie fact left everyone hanging. All right, last little quick topic before we get to Chatbar champion and all that. We did 3 shows from Vegas, and I'm sure many of you could not tune in. So I thought maybe we could just do a couple little highlights of what we talked about with some of those people. Let's start with Atchison, since he was the most recent.
my name is Jeff.
Did we should have played that.
I about
more.
lost
He
my
did.
shit
He
when
did.
Brandon
Brandon
played
played
that.
it one time during the show.
Mhm.
Chad, I'm going to nerdy Chad. You've had some time to soak it in. You're not under the hot lights. You don't hear all the chaos of wealth at work in the background. He is a Timberlake acronym. He is a country singer acronym. He is the Hotel California acronym, but he was referring to like plan design shit, like actually like getting more in the weeds with plan design and solving owners of companies' problems. Now that you've had time to soak it in, any thoughts? And think to the people who didn't get to hear him.
Yeah,
speak.
so I will say, and he wrote on LinkedIn, thank you for that, Jeff. I'll get back to you. When can we connect to talk about the non-qualified deferred comp space as a solution for these owners? Because if you recall, that's what one of the areas we got into was him saying, you can use this to solve plan design issues. And for those that weren't listening in,
Or
a
like
big part of the
succession
time,
issues.
succession issues. Yeah, and I shouldn't say issues, but I was getting ready to say a big part of his time with us was saying he thinks we are going to revert back, and I'm going to use his terminology as an industry, to leveraging plan design to really help clients. And he wasn't talking about plan design, auto enroll, auto features like we have been for years. He's going in and saying, setting more money aside for the executives and the owners of the business and really creating a customized design that allows them to shelter a shit ton of money. And in that discussion, he said using the non-qualified deferred comp, because I came back and said, we've been doing that in the DC world for 50 years. Like we've got that down pat. And he said the non-qualified deferred comp. And I still, JD, I don't know the answer. I don't believe him at this point. And I know he's far smarter than I am, and he's going to have to teach me. But I have not had anybody who is a non-qual specialist show me a way in which it creates much. I get it. It's tax deferred for a short period of time. Create much tax benefit out of the non-qual side for an owner of a business.
Get mad at me if I'm wrong, Chad. You're missing his point. He wasn't saying that. He was the non-qualified deferred comp solution he had was around an owner who had value in their company,
Yeah.
and they didn't
Not
have-
only.
and they didn't. Yeah, it was.
That was
No,
his
that was
focus.
not his only point, but that was his focus, is the succession planning of helping those people buy the company. And that's where I fought back there as
Which
well.
is something we never really thought about.
Absolutely it is. Yes, it is something I've
No.
thought about. And
Well,
using the cash balance
I
side to
think
do
you're
the
wrong.
same thing.
I think you're wrong, Jeff. Jeff's here. Jeff, tell us Chad's wrong. in
We
the
can play
Chatbar.
that shit out if you want to.
He was talking.
The business,
Another one of
number
my
one, let
souls
me ask
saved.
how the business comes up with the money to put in the non-qual. They pull it back from the executives that are trying to buy the business,
Yeah,
and they
but
use
Chad,
that
you're
money in the
making a-
non-qual.
Your point is moot. He didn't say that you can use a non-qualified deferred comp as a design feature for owner businesses. He was talking about succession plans and getting
So
the
am I
employees
right
to
now.
buy. Oh, okay. Well, then what the fuck are you talking about then? That didn't make
So
any
I'm
sense.
still talking about the tax benefit. Why would the owner want to get paid out in a non-qual in that situation?
Oh, you made that argument when he was on the show. And his response to you was a very intelligent one. He goes,
I'll
well, what's
teach you
the-
later.
No, he said, what's the tax benefit if your company's worth, he
Yeah,
didn't use these
come on,
numbers.
that's BS.
No, that was legit, bro. He's like,
So-
what if your company's worth 15 million and you're only going to get 4 for it because you can't find the right buyers or whatever? Then your whole tax advantage shit goes out the window.
Okay, so
Listen
what
to
makes
that.
you think if you're going to get
That's real
employees
world.
to buy it for you for that value, if you can't sell it for that value outside of those employees? His comments of saying
Please,
you
Chad, that
need
happened.
those people to make your company valuable, that is super rich, super real. I get it. Incredibly true. You need those high-end executives that have made your company successful. If you intend to sell it, they need to be locked in. That point of his, totally get it.
But Chad, in the real world, you can have, and we can move on to Genie stuff, but you can have executives and people who work from you who understand the value of the company because they've worked there for a long time, where the outside market doesn't get it.
now
And
you're-
that's not reaching, bro. That's real life.
You're reaching.
That's so not reaching. That's real fucking life. As someone who's a business owner who looks at like valuations of things, that is very true. Like markets ebb and flow, and sometimes people want to buy your business, sometimes people don't. And it's very, very true. And I think what he said was pretty smart. And he's got a far better fashion sense than you anyways, Chad. So fucking A. Jeannie Fisher, Justin, Jeannie Fisher talked about not just knocking on doors. She knocks on doors of prospects that she's researched strategically, a plan she wants to win. And she stops by with gifts like s'mores or I don't know, I'm making a bottle of wine, but she usually puts a creative little twist on it. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, that's kind of baller. I mean,
Well, it's how you get remembered, right? Like that's what makes you that different. And so they're going to remember, oh yeah, you're that person. You're not the person who dropped off the last little binder of whatever marketing materials you have, right?
Chad was too heated with JD to read the chat live.
JD always wants to pick the side of our guest.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you won't
What?
listen.
speaking of that, though, I love
That's blasphemy.
how
Hey,
she just
DeCenso.
kept firing right back at him.
DeCenso, am I the one who picks the side of the guest?
Fair point.
Yeah, Jeannie Fisher shut me the fuck
Mhm.
down on the whole
was
social
my favorite
media
part.
thing. I really felt intimidated. I was like, damn, she's crushing me right now. Sorry, Sutton. Yeah, Sutton. Justin, would you go to your advisors these days and tell them about Genie Sutton and the fact that she drops off s'mores? I mean, tell me the truth.
If they're trying to get in, I mean, yeah, advisors are always asking for, hey, what are you guys seeing that's creative, right? Or how
Have
can
you
I
ever
attract
told
somebody?
them that they should go up to the receptionist and drop off a gift? Be honest.
I actually have. I used to use that in my
Okay,
last job, to
okay.
be honest with you. Not a gift like that, but we have a buddy who used to work for us, did that same exact thing. He
Straight to the-
customized a lot of stuff and had these little packets and stuff that he would drop off and whatnot. And he did have some success with it. I don't know if he's still doing it.
Who's asking the $100? That's the deal that you can't give to.
I
can't
mean,
give
maybe
gifts
we
to
should
buy
just
this.
start delivering McDonald's to him.
I like
6,000
that.
calories worth.
And then there was Kush. We had Kush on the show, and so much happened between
I wanna
now
read you
and
on that one.
Kush. I can't remember what the fuck we talked about. So let's just go to Chatbar champion. Love you, Kush.
I
Love
want
you.
him back. We were too rushed for that one.
We
Kush,
we had to
yeah.
shorten that one up
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking between then and now for me. Do you know I had someone come up to me at the conference? Can I tell everyone this? I had someone come up and they said, hey, I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. I really like everything you've been doing. I've been watching for years. And then they looked me dead in the eye and they go, but hey, I just want to make sure you take care of yourself, okay? I was like, they're like, he said this to me. He goes, maybe he's on right now. I'm so sorry. I'm not making fun of you. It's so nice that you said that. He goes, we don't want to lose you. And I think what he meant was, JD, I watch you at Thursday nights. You're gonna drink yourself to death, bro.
I
Like,
think-
what's going on?
I think maybe he heard you
I've
mention.
been
your
drinking a lot of
actual
vodka in
age.
my free time.
He heard you mention your actual age and went, "Oh, geez." Like, he looks pretty
We're gonna lose
good,
him
but if
soon.
that's true, here's two things that I want to mention from the conference that
Okay.
I thought was interesting. One, you went off, and I don't remember who it was, but I know who he came up with. He came up with Tim Gay, and you went off on a guy I had not mentioned that said, "I really like what you guys are doing for the younger generation." And JD's like, "This isn't about the younger generation. This is about everybody." And
was
you
a-
went off on
It was an
him.
American Century executive, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I really like Retireholics. I love how you guys are reaching the youth. You reach." I'm like, "Fuck you, bro. That's not what we're doing. We're for everyone. You fucking asshole."
And
Reaching
then the
out for
second thing
youth.
was at that conference, and Lisa's on here, so maybe I should say this kind of sensitively, but I think it's enjoyable for me, who's someone who doesn't have the same stresses. I noticed the anxiety level of people in general are so much higher because a lot of the people walking around are presenters, and they may not
Oh.
always present in this
They're
environment.
having speaking
Mhm.
anxiety.
They're having some speaking anxiety. Like, you can hear it in their voice. I go,
Interesting.
I gotta go speak in 2 hours. I'll be in, room C. And I don't catch that elsewhere, but it's because they're at these conferences so relaxed, and now they're there and they got to do some speaking.
Yeah. Sherry Fitz looked really nervous to you, huh?
No, Sherry never looks nervous. Sherry's got ice in those veins.
Sherry, do you know? Does Sherry even know that she was the winner of the first? I don't even think Lisa Allen knows there was this thing, but there was, Lisa, there was an inaugural 2022 Wealth at Work Fashion Awards, and Sherry Fitz was the winner. Congratulations, Sherry. You'll have to go back and watch Jeff Atchison's episode to see all of that.
What prize does
Hack
she
was
win? Or it's
second.
just
From who? Sponsored by JD Carlson and nominated by JD Carlson and voted on by JD Carlson.
But listen,
yeah, there was
Lisa,
only one judge.
we set the stage that for next year, JD and his committee are coming up with 5, and we have to bring them on stage and talk about what they are wearing and why they're in the best dress of the conference conversation.
It's gonna be-
Is this our plan to be the keynote?
This is going to be news to Lisa
Yeah.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the comment nice, I'm taking that as approval. We're going next year with
Sweet.
the Wealth at Work 2023 Fashion Awards, and we're going to get it a little better. Okay, Chatbar champion. My vote
Had to be
is gonna,
present to win, Mike.
my vote is going to go for David K. And that is because, not because he works for a census, because I could give a fuck about a census, but because he said Justin seemed like someone who'd have a severed foot in his freezer. That one hit home for me. I don't know.
I've missed that, but I like it.
So I'm going with David K. Justin, I'm guessing you're
Not
backing me
him.
up on that one.
Fuck that. Mine's 2 parts. So we need to actually respond to her because she's asked like 10 times. My vote's for Sherry. She wants to know the dog's name.
Oh, the dog's name is
Oh.
Shelby.
Thomas Shelby.
Shelby. Yeah, I had a little Peaky Blinders vibe to it, and then it's got a little car vibe to it.
Okay.
So yeah. I wanted it to be named Rishi, but my wife wasn't into it. Chad, your vote for Chatbar.
I had some trouble.
Tell you about my best friend.
I had some trouble with this one tonight because I feel like there was a ton of activity. There were some good comments, but there were some weak performances tonight. For me, it was Hackler or it was Sherry, and I'm going Sherry as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So it's a head-to-head battle, am I right? Sherry versus David.
Hack, you shouldn't have been so mean to Samson.
So
Otherwise, you
bad.
might have gotten it. And Samson, you shouldn't have been so
Sherry
mean to
show.
Hackler. Otherwise, you might have gotten it.
This is Sherry show. Wow, you're penalizing people for being hostile in the chat bar.
We don't like to see knockdown dragouts in the chat bar. Only against you, JD.
I'm gonna counter that. I'd love to see the chat bar get fired up. And when things go awry, that's a good sign, push it, people, push it. See if you can get canceled in there. Okay, I'll just get along. It's not very head to head. Yeah, we're all living in Sherry's world. Sherry Fitz is like, she knows how to be unforgettable. Did I get her word right? Is that it?
Turn your head.
Is it unforgettable? Did I get that right? Ooh, nice.
Dylan's lightning strikes.
Very cool.
Bam, show the other side, buddy. Yeah.
Very cool. I get really nervous when kids are on the show because I know I'm going to swear at
They
any
can't hear
moment.
anything.
Okay,
He's in
good,
here.
good,
You're in here.
good. The winner is Sherry Fitz. So she's back-to-back winner of the inaugural 2022 Wealth at Work Fashion Awards and Chat Bar champion for tonight's show. I promise not to send you McDonald's next week, Sherry. Next week, we will be performing live on stage from Washington, D.C. at the AIG conference, which is now the Corebridge conference. I'll drink for that, but I
I
don't
think
know what it
so.
stands for, to be honest with you. Hold on.
Insurance group. It's got to be like American.
Yeah, American
Insurance
International Group.
But they've spun
There you
off
go.
their retirement dealio, and now it's called Corebridge. And we will be there doing a live show. Here's the deal, guys. I think this would be fun. We've done this one time before. Brandon's going to record the show. Then we're going to run back to our hotel room. He's got to render it, line up the audio. He's got to work pretty hard, just so you know. This doesn't happen easy. So we should all be appreciative of Brandon's hard work. And Samara backs him up.
Hope
She
he's
works
drunk
a
this
lot
time.
on the audio. And then we will stream it at the regular, same bat channel, same bat time next Thursday. But then I think Brandon can throw us in a little window and we can kind of watch it with y'all and actually be really active
Sweet.
in the chat bar and kind of talk to you. What hotel? We are at the, it's called the Hotel Washington. Am I getting that right?
Is that where the conference is at too?
Yeah. It's right across from the White House. Did I get
Nice,
that
bro.
right?
This will be the first time I've heard what hotel I'm staying in, so I'm gonna go put that in my calendar.
It's posh, bro. It's super posh.
I want to do some of the nerdy touring of DC. Dang it, JD.
Yeah,
I've not seen that city.
Hotel Washington.
You tell Mark to get his scooter skills in check, Chad.
I
'cause
did.
We're gonna have to use
I did
those.
tell him. He laughed. That was really
Right.
funny, Justin.
And shoot, our guest for that show, come on, JD, is going to be executive at Corebridge. His name is Scott Ramey, Ramey, and he was, if anybody knows, he was at Nationwide for a while, and before that he was at Transamerica. Anyone out there in the chat bar knows Scott Ramey? He's now the new business strategy and acquisition person at the new Corebridge. Anyway, so he'll be our guest. We'll be doing that. Okay, that's what's happening next week. So yes, we'll be having a show. We'll see you on Thursday night. Thank you to Justin and Mark for preparing on the headlines. I will send those next week.
Thank you for sending those
guys.
out not 2 hours before the conference or
Chad,
show.
I'd like to thank you, but you completely missed everything Jeff Atchison was trying to say about non-qual. Chad, I love you. I like that shirt too. That's
Mhm.
you're starting to, that's fashion forward.
Oh goodness.
Little long sleeve with a pocket? No, for real.
Ooh, can
Is
he
that like
win
a
next year?
tan? Is that a tan color?
It is. It's like a
Fucking A, bro.
color.
That's legit. That's looking good. He's bringing sexy back, Atchison. He is, even though he doesn't understand non-qualified deferred comp and can help succession plans. He's got the fashion going. Thanks to all you out there for tuning in on another Thursday night. We love you for that. Thanks to all the people at Wealth at Work that came up and said hi and hung out with us. and got your flamingo swag. If you were able to get your hands on that, we appreciate that. And thanks to, yeah, hey, Bryant Lester, Lisa Allen, everyone that busted their ass at Wealth at Work. Big thanks to you for
Yeah,
doing
big
that.
thank you.
You know, when we were leaving, we had to store all our gear, and we have a lot of gear for the show, and they allowed us to piggyback in their little storage room. And then when Brandon and I drove over to pick it all up and put it in my truck, Bryant and Trey wheeled it out to us on a big, they had loaded all of our shit onto a thing. Yeah, those are good people. Those are very nice, good people and friends for life. Okay, before I start crying, let's play a song and get the fuck out of here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been another episode of You Know What.
Finally, a song I can get on board with.